We're back, and the issues are the intrusion of China into land grabbing a lot of our property, so to speak. Now, maybe we don't really need that property. Maybe malayo-layo sa atin sa Metro Manila, so sa mga syudad natin. But the point is, there is definitely an intrusion. Now, what are the options? We already heard in the first part of the show the situation. What can we do? What is left to do? And what should we do? Kung ganito na nga, do you still challenge the bully who's down the street na alam mo, matatalo ka, lalabang ka pa ba? What do we do? Congressman, I heard you in a show the other day, a radio show, and narinig ko yun, you're very adamant kasi binira ka ng mga question. Anong gagawin mo kung bully nga? Hindi naman natin kaya labanan ng China. Anong gagawin natin? Papayag ba tayo? Siyempre, hindi tayo papayag, pero anong gagawin natin? Kaya pumayag na lang tayo. Parang ganun lumalabas. Mali yun, as you were saying.
Yeah. Bago yan, no? Ipakita ko muna kung ano yung ginagawa, no?
Sige, sige.
Ang claim ng China. Ito. Ito ang the whole South China Sea.
Yan.
Ito ang southernmost territory of China, Hainan.
Okay, yeah,
Ito,
Hainan.
no? But they're claiming
Sa
the
kabila.
entire South China Sea, including features within our exclusive economic zone. Tingnan mo, ito yung lugar katabi lang ng Palawan, sasabihin nila kanila. Ito is Scarborough Shoal, which is very close to Zambales. Ang layo-layo sa China.
Nila.
Sasabihin nila kanila. Parang Maynila, biglang pupunta sa Muntinlupa at sabihin,
Amin yan.
amin yan. Ganun ang ginagawa. Tama ba naman yun, no? So, may iba magsasabi, malaki yan eh. So, ibig sabihin, pag malaki ang kalaban, di ka nalalaban. Anong gustong mangyari ng mga ibang tao? Of course, I don't know where they're coming from. No?
Halika na, gera na tayo. Parang gano'n.
Hindi, sabihin nila. Parang to them, bayaan na lang, masyadong malaki ang kalaban. Ano ang gagawin natin? Parang yung nangyayari sa mga ibang bansa, pag may binubuli, minsan yung bata nagpapakamatay.
Ewan ko, papakamatay kaya Pilipino?
Papakamatay na lang kasi parang walang tumutulong sa kanya. Hindi siya makapasok sa eskwela, araw-araw andun yung bully. But the correct thing to do would be tell the parents.
Correct. Go to the administration, tell the authorities.
Go to the principal, tell the community. Don't let it be a conflict between you and the bully. Talo ka dun. Kailangan malaman ng lahat yan. And that's exactly what we should be doing. And that's what we're doing. Kaya kami nag-rally sa harap
But isn't that what the DFA
China
did?
consulate.
It's already in the United Nations.
International. Ang sabi ng China, no, it's bilateral. That's the bully tactic.
Correct.
Di ba ang bully, human experience, lalapitan ka, bubulungan ka, pag magsabi ka pag isumbo mo sa principal, lumanda ka.
Titirahin kita mas lalo.
Titirahin kita lalo.
Pag salita ka, papariling kita, tatakutin ka.
Na lang. Ganun ang gusto nilang mangyari, which we should not allow. Sabi nila, ang sabi ng China, pag ginawa international ito, makukomplicate. Well, inaapakan na yung paa mo, tapos sinasakal ka na.
Tapos sabihin magko-complicate pa.
Pag magreklamo ka, makukomplicate. I don't think we should allow that. Because now, it's an open world. This is not anymore the Middle Ages where a power like Rome, for example, will all of a sudden march into your territory. Like
take over.
Spain would go to South America and take over all those countries there.
Like what they did to us.
Like what they did to. Hindi na pwedeng ganun. Because now we can holler. May CNN, may GNN, merong Saturday South China Morning Post, kahit na sa Hong Kong yan.
How do you react to the comments of some people that say, nag-usap na tayo dyan, nag-economic interest na tayo dyan, we were going to develop the oil, etc., etc. There was that group that they were trying to do with some taipans here, and that was already moving forward. And now that's held in abeyance because of this problem, because it was presented to the United Nations. Hindi rin tama yung grupo na yun.
Ito yung isang example dyan, yung JMSU.
Yeah, JMSU. That's
JMSU, Joint Marine Seismic Undertaking. Sa unang tingin, parang maganda kasi magkakaroon ng joint undertaking, no? Ang problema lang, yung JMSU, ito basically ang area ng JMSU, ito.
Yung square na yan?
Hindi, yung parang arrow na yan, no?
Okay.
It's about 75% of that is within our exclusive economic zone. Ang sabi sa JMSU, isa-survey natin yan, kung ano makita dyan. By the way, the data will be gathered by the sophisticated vessels, survey vessels of China. Tapos ang processing sa kanila rin. Kaya hindi natin alam
Hindi natin
kung
alam
anong
kung baka
nakuha
Ano
niya.
mahanap sila?
So,
Hanap na sila,
baka
hindi pa
mamaya,
natin
hindi
alam.
natin alam. Kasi bigla sila nagka-interest. We don't know what they found there. Ang problema lang, paghahatian daw natin. Sabi ko, bakit yung lugar natin ang pinaghahatian? Dapat kung talagang tama yan, equitable, yung buong South China Sea ang pag-usapan natin, including the exclusive economic zone of China,
Their part.
which is part of the South China Sea of Vietnam. Kasi tripartite ito eh. Petro-Vietnam o Vietnam.
Why do you call it
China-
Petro-Vietnam? Kasi may petroleum doon?
Hindi, yun ang state oil company nila.
Okay.
Then the China
Okay.
National Oil Exploration
PNOC
Corporation.
sa atin.
Tapos ang PNOC. Hindi ito intergovernmental, kundi parang
Economic.
this state-owned oil companies. Yun ang agreement.
Private
No?
in nature.
Kaya so,
government
hindi equitable. Bakit ang lugar natin ang paghahatian?
Yun na.
Paghahatian natin yung buong South China Sea. Yun ang problema dyan.
Solutions. What options do we have left? Pwede ba tayong makipaggera?
Why not? Sila Lapu-Lapu, itak lang naman ang hawak niya na. But he fought against Magellan. That's not to stop
Alam mo,
us.
ilan lang yung how many Chinese do we have? 1.3 billion?
That doesn't mean anything. I will still, they can kill most Filipinos, but they will not kill our spirit. We're not out to just let the bully do whatever they want
So
to do.
you're saying if necessary, if it comes to that, so be it. Kailangan
I
tumayo
wouldn't
tayo.
So be it. That's also why I went to that peaceful rally that we held on the 24th. My brother is still active in the military. So are most of my mistas from, my...
But
PMA
surely, the
class
240,000 strong, both the army and the police, I mean, surely, that's a very thin stand, I mean, as far as human beings are concerned.
Yeah, but as
And
far as being a
Anong
soldier-
armaments natin?
as
Isa
far
pa
as
yun.
being a soldier is concerned, you think you will just surrender?
Lalabang kami sa paano.
Oh, and I'm not a civilian right now, but I came because I also wanted to represent all the families of all my mistas, my upperclassmen, my underclassmen, who will bear the brunt of the fight in case there is one.
So maganda, pinapasok natin ang Amerikano ngayon, these joint military
Ito
exercises.
yung tinayo kong organization. No? Ang tawag
sige.
dito, Dika Pasisiil. Ito
Ano ba ang
yung,
pasisiil?
It's a lift. Hindi
You will
ka
not surrender.
magpapalupig. Yeah.
Okay.
It's a lift from the national anthem.
Yes, sir.
A literal lift from the national anthem, Dika Pasisiil.
Yeah, it's in our
But
national
when you
anthem.
say Dika Pasisiil, it doesn't necessarily mean
Gigera ka.
going into a physical
Yeah.
war. Because there are so many ways to protect ourselves. One is alliances, deterrence. And going into alliances is a very normal sovereign act. Even superpowers, in spite of their power, go into
It's
alliances.
mature, it's the right...
Diba? Even when the U.S. Went to Iraq, they created a coalition. They didn't go alone. Great
Allied
Britain,
forces.
at the height of their power,
Allied
in
forces.
confronting France, which was a big land power during the time, had to create a 7-nation alliance to counter Napoleon. It's not an act of subservience. It's a real politics, tawag daw. Yan ang pwedeng gawin. And right now, that's what is emerging. For example, ang Japan may problema rin sa China.
Senkaku,
yung
yes,
Senkaku.
yes.
So ngayon, Japan has been talking for about almost a year now of a security diamond consisting of the other powers in the region, Japan, the USA, India, and Australia. That's quite potent. In fact, if you ask me, pag magkaroon ng direct
Alliance.
physical confrontation between Japan and China, China will end up very degraded, and we might be there to pick up the pieces. Hindi ganun kaliit ang
Hapon.
Japan. Japan is one of the top 10 military powers in the world.
But I thought
They have a very
since the World War,
sophisticated
they were not
air force.
allowed.
They
Japanese
have a
Defense Force?
sophisticated air force, a very advanced navy that can put up a good fight and probably even destroy in 24 hours their vaunted aircraft carrier, yung Liaoning ng
Liaoning.
China. No? India has an aircraft carrier. They have a big
Meron nga,
navy.
meron din, yes.
Nuclear
They have
power.
a big
Nuclear din sila.
big land army. Australia, of course, can
They most of their
quarantine,
submarines, yes.
can quarantine the entire South China Sea. Just positioning submarines in strategic areas, they can strangle the economy in just a few months of India. And when that happens, about 300 mil of China. If that happens, about 300 million Chinese will be out of work, will starve, and will go into food riots and probably topple
Their own military, their own government.
That's right. These are, and you know, some people are saying that what is happening now, all these alliances and coalitions that are happening now, is the direct result of the assertiveness of China. It is China
Who's
that
forcing us to do this.
bringing it to themselves. Vietnam has gone to the sphere of the Americans, in spite of the fact that 40 years ago, they were
They're
at war
enemies.
with each other. No? Pero ngayon, ally na sila.
Ang ties ba nasa atin din, sa Allied Forces and
Thai
ties?
is...
They're on their own pa rin.
They made statements that are very favorable to a code of conduct. But
Tama,
nothing
code of
about
conduct.
alliances.
That's about it.
Because wala sila doon sa South China Sea. They're
Other side,
the
Indian.
Gulf of Siam sila banda.
In fact, during that rally last Wednesday, we were also joined by some Vietnamese, local Vietnamese.
Yun,
Sumasali na.
natural ally
Yeah,
natin.
and you know, nobody, I wouldn't want to say nobody invited them, you know, but they're all welcome because that's what we actually were there
Open
for,
up,
is,
open up.
is to get
So,
China
What you're
to
trying to
go
do,
to the table.
what you're trying to do is generate awareness among the Filipinos who don't understand. For example, the Americans are coming back in and now in Japan in this joint military exercise because we see them rallying all the time in the U.S. Embassy, di ba?
Alam mo, yung sinasabi ng China na it could get complicated for us, no? I think it could even also get complicated for them. Kasi hindi ganun kasimple na porke malaki sila, kaya nila tayong lupigin. Kasi this is not going to be a conflict between China and the Philippines alone.
Only.
Other forces will certainly
Come to picture.
come into the picture because they'll see that this may be the start of something more aggressive on the part of China, just testing the waters.
So hold them back habang kaya pa.
Singapore, in spite of
Malakas ang Air
Singapore
Force.
being ethnically Chinese, they're hosting a U.S. Navy station there. In fact, the most sophisticated Navy ship right now, the USS Freedom, is based in Singapore. Ito yung LCS nila, no? Literal combat
So
ship.
mali yung ginawa natin na pinalabas natin ng Amerikano, hindi natin pinapayagan dito. So we had to go around the Constitution and
Politika
create.
na, ibig sabihin,
Political. Because the nationalism, we took them out in 92.
pero wala pa kasi itong mga bagay na ito. Who would be able to anticipate
Predict,
that?
So iba na ang patakaran.
1992, when I first became a congressman, pag sinabi mo external threat, hindi masyado pinag-uusapan ito. More of internal ang pinag-uusapan. Until 95, 98, yung mischief reef. But you know, looking at all of this, Harry, Nick, I think this is going to be a blessing in disguise, and we have to thank China for this. Because,
Baliktad na lang.
you know why? Because this is a unifying force for Filipinos. For the first time, we are looking in so many decades since the Second World War, we are looking at an external threat. We have been so complacent because we are secure as an archipelago. No border conflict, not like what Thailand experienced with respect to, let's say,
all the Southeast Asian countries.
Southern border provinces, Taiwan with respect to China, Singapore with respect to Malaysia,
South and North
Indonesia,
Korea.
South Africa, Africa with the rest of the world, Israel facing existential threat with respect to all their neighbors. Tayo, masyado tayong complacent until now. And if you look at the history of mankind, an external threat is a unifying force. Kaya ang China, parang ganun din ginagawa nila strategy in order to also address some internal problems that they're having.
Go forward.
Ginagawa nila, they're creating an external situation to unite them, to make people more nationalistic. Sabi nila,
But they've
kanila
already-
historically, kanila raw ang South China Sea.
Tama nga naman, tinawag natin South China Sea ever since.
The English Channel is not
West
owned by
Philippine
the...
Sea.
Well, that's a bagay. Okay,
The
good
Philippine
argument.
Sea.
Good
The
argument.
Philippine Sea is not owned by the Philippines. It goes all the way to the Marianas.
Okay,
The
good
Gulf of
argument.
Mexico is not owned by Mexico.
Good argument. But
Indian Ocean is not owned by India.
they've already invaded. This is the situation. They've already taken off 2 or 3 of the islands, right? They're already here, hinawakan na nila.
Yeah,
Yun ang sitwasyon ngayon.
Oo.
So tama yung ginagawa ng gobyerno. Did the president mention this in his SONA? Did he give it importance? I think they kept
Medyo,
quiet. Eh.
Ano, ang explanation ng DFA, the reason why the president did not
Kasi ando
mention
doon na sa
because
UNCLOS.
of a sub judice issue. It's already in the ITLOS,
Ah.
the International Tribunal of the Law of the Sea. So parang kung may kaso ka sa korte, you cannot go public and discuss the merits
So
of
at
the
this
case.
point, we have to abide and wait and be patient with the ITLOS. Is that what you're saying? Whether we like it or not.
Well,
Or we should generate awareness, which is what you're doing, for the Filipino at least to understand exactly where that is going.
well, I think we are in that direction. It's just that they seem to not want it.
They, as in the Chinese.
You know,
Do you think the Filipino in general,
Yeah,
tayo,
there-
nakakaintindi na ba tayo kung
There
ano
are two
nangyayari?
kinds of diplomacies now with respect to this. One is state diplomacy. That is the one being practiced and exercised
DFA.
by the DFA and the
Mhm.
president. The president is the
Part of it, yes,
principal
yes.
architect of our foreign policy to be implemented by the DFA. The other one is public diplomacy. That's me, being a private citizen. That's you talking,
Yes,
you're
yes.
commenting. It's the United Pinoys in the States. It's Nick Sotelo
Yes, yes.
in this group. It's Dika Pasisiil, Rotary Club, etc., etc. We air our grievances and announces to the world. While the ITLOS is ongoing, papers are going to be submitted on August 5. The ITLOS already directed both the Philippines and China to submit their formal documents. But they cannot prevent us from talking about this. That is the public diplomacy part of this.
What should the Filipino do in general? Yung mga nanonood, kanyari, pinakinggan nga na tayo, di ba? Anong role ng Pinoy, mga nanonood? Hindi naman sila leader, pero what should they follow, who should they follow, what should they do? For example, you made it aware in this TV show, pinag-uusapan natin. They've read it in the newspaper. But the Pinoy is not sure exactly, should I go out and rally? Should I go to the Chinese embassy? Doon ako maglaban. Should I write them? Should I pick up my arms? Barilin ko ba ang susunod na incheck? Ano maganda?
Well, una-una, we should speak with one voice.
Okay.
Ano ang sinasabi ng gobyerno? Suportahan natin.
All right.
Kahit na hindi tayo we do not fully understand or probably we do not fully
So support the
accept
president
principles,
in
but
this-
support.
In this
Kasi
inclusive.
laban ng Pilipinas ito against
the whole
China.
country.
That's why sabi ko, nakakalungkot na mayroong mga sabi nila, mga nationalist daw sila. Pero hindi,
Yung mga sa US Embassy.
ayaw nilang kontra ng
Mag-rally.
China dito sa exclusive economic zone
But you
natin.
also have it in Congress, in the Senate. Ayaw nila yung mga Amerikano, especially mga diehard nationalists. Don't bring any nuclear arms into our
Well,
waters, di ba?
it's good, pero dapat tabla ang laban.
Okay.
Oh, tabla lang. Okay lang. Okay, you also condemn the US. It's their prerogative. Pero ikundina mo rin. Lalo na yung nasa loob na ng exclusive economic zone natin. Because under UNCLOS, tayo ang merong sovereign right over the exploitation of natural resources,
On our areas.
control of natural resources, minerals, oil, fish inside our exclusive economic zone. Atin yan eh.
Atin
Oo.
yun.
Pero Amerikano, they're saying, from what I read, hindi naman kasama sa UNCLOS ng Amerikano. They
Iba naman,
refuse to sign it.
ang yan yung tinatawag ng Mutual Defense Treaty. Kasi under the Mutual Defense Treaty, ang tinatawag dyan yung territory talaga natin, the undisputed territory. But remember, in the Mutual Defense Treaty, it also includes any attack, not just on our territory, metropolitan territory, but also on our public vessels, aircraft, and armed forces, anywhere in the Pacific area.
Protection of those
Pag
that we own.
in-attack tayo, if we are attacked by a third party, then they must also take action.
Same way if they were
Oo.
attacked.
Yeah.
So parang self-defense, so to
Yeah,
speak.
Mutual
Basta
defense.
mutual defense ito eh. So, nyari, meron tayong Coast Guard ships doon. Attack yung Coast Guard ships natin. Okay, Bureau of Fisheries ships natin. Okay, aircraft natin. Then that will be still considered an attack on Philippine territory.
But taking our property, developing it, and telling our fishermen to go away and putting army vessels there na stationary, tatakutin ka tuwing may pupuntang Pilipino na namamangka. that's aggressiveness on the part of the Chinese. So it's already
Pero hindi pa yan, technically hindi kasama yan sa Mutual Defense Treaty.
Hindi
It's
pa
still
rin,
between us, no? Between us and China. And that's why we have already lodged it in the International Tribunal on the Law of the Sea, following the rule of law. Kasi rule of law ang approach natin. That is the pronounced position of the Philippine government. At
Yeah,
yan
rule of law.
dapat suportahan natin. Sabihin
Yan,
natin,
lahat ng
China,
tao.
makinig kayo sa rule of law. Ay, respeto nyo ang rule of law.
Pero
dito.
kung hindi sila makinig ng rule of law, kung magkadiinan, kailangan we have to stand up for ourselves. That's your message.
Yes, we have to stand up. Pero, ando pa rin eh. Kasi alam mo, at the end of the day, China, I think, itong nababasa ko sa kanila, no? They're rising. They want to be considered a respectable and respected member of the international community. Pag nagkaroon ng adverse decision ang ITLOS, that put them in a bind. Palagay ko magkakaroon ng big internal debate there. If they violate, if they ignore,
They will lose
or
their
even
integrity.
defy yung ITLOS, then how would that make them appear? Bully and
Renegade.
not respecting international law.
Renegade.
A rogue country.
Rogue
Which is what is
country,
going on right now.
with North Korea. Gentlemen, we're at the top of the hour. Talking about these issues, obviously, isang oras is not enough, and I think maybe if you have time in the near future, we should try to generate even more awareness, which is really the right and correct direction so that the Filipino viewer will understand exactly where it's going to appreciate what directions he might take. A short message to our viewers. Can we start with Nick Sotelo?
Love of country, that's all I can say. Love
Okay.
of country.
So kung kailangan lumaban, lumaban.
Well, if it's a given, why not?
There is a reason why you're National Security Advisor. It is very clear in this conversation as I speak with you. Congressman Golas, what would you like to say?
Sa akin, I'd like to reiterate what I said earlier. This is a blessing in disguise. We are facing adversity, but what we are facing is also a unifying force. That for the first time, our country is facing a real external threat, biggest external threat since the Second World War, and I see that it's unifying, and I think we'll come out stronger here. What will not kill us will make us stronger. So, kailangan we speak with one voice. Let us support the government in its effort to counter the aggressiveness of China. Yun ang the least that we can do as citizens of the Republic of the Philippines.
Thank you very much, sir. Obviously, it's all about what you know, what you hear, what you're told, and what you see, what you watch. So, what we went through just today is just, how do you say it, an intermediate presentation to you of what is exactly happening. There's a need to know more so that we will understand, like the congressman says. And Nick Sotelo, love of country is all about the ability to act together when the need requires. And narito na po tayo. So I hope you've enjoyed our show. Maraming salamat po. Thank you very much, and we'll see you again next week. Maraming salamat po, Congressman.
Thank you.
Sir? Wait, the camera. You are what you watch.